The Maine Department of Health and Human Services gave a briefing this morning on the impacts of recent federal activities. At the end of March, the federal government notified the department that approximately $91 million in grants would be terminated. According to the presentation, it will affect Maine's ability to respond to disease outbreaks, having vaccines available, and addressing workforce shortages. In the restructuring of the D.H.H.S, they called for 5 of the 10 regional offices to be eliminated, Boston being one of the closed offices, making Philadelphia the closest to Maine.
This impacts our ability really to get technical assistance on a timely manner for various programs. We had great relationships with Region 1 that they often came and supported the governor's opioid summit. We had leadership from Region 1 who would come and present. And so it just leaves us in a little bit of an unknown. And all we have right now are general inboxes that we can send our questions to.
Gagne Holmes also said that at the state level, there are concerns. She mentioned that if the people's veto attempt on the past budget is successful, they won't be able to make any payments for Medicaid reimbursement to providers.